in the Times. They are following up a story that was broken by Channel 4's Dispatches and the Sunday Times yesterday about the fact that essentially the private estates of King Charles and Prince William hold contracts with public bodies and charities, and they allow them to get about 50 million from them. I don't know, what do you think, Robert?
Well, I think it's the problem with the people who've done the deals with the royal family, not necessarily the royal family themselves, because what we've got to remember is that the royal family own lots of historic estates. Church of England own multi-billion-pound property estates. The Church of Wales does, and so if these are historic deals that have been made by the public sector with the royal family, well, that's the problem of the public sector. Don't make those kind of deals. But you've got to have the same rule for everybody. You can't just say, well, the royal family, because they've got a lot of property, even if it is historic, they have to have special rules for them. Either you have one rule for everybody. If they're not above the rule of law, then the rule of law should apply to the deals that they make in terms of their property portfolio.
Just so we get some of the specifics, the Duchy of Lancaster, which is, basically Lancaster and Cornwall are Charles and William. The Duchy of Lancaster has a deal with Guy's and St Thomas's Foundation Trust, the NHS in London, that they will charge the NHS £11 million over 15 years for the right to park ambulances. The Duchy of Cornwall receives rent for Dartmoor Prison.
But I recognise your indignation, and it is eye-watering, but I think we need to peel back just one stage further. You said they're operating under the same rules as everyone else, and that's where I fundamentally disagree. The second paragraph in this article, they operate, they being the respective duchies, as commercial landlords while holding, and this is exclusively for our royal family, a special status exempting them, I'm just going to say this very slowly so everyone can hear it, from paying corporation tax on their profits and capital gains tax on the assets they sell.
That may be wrong, but that is...
Maybe wrong.
Hang on. No, because it's not against law. That is the problem with the Treasury or the governments of the time or the public sector that made those deals with them in the first place. They didn't have to make those deals.
We've got to have some exemptions. You're obviously, you like the idea of massive inheritance tax. It sounds like it. In one generation, you'd wipe out the royal family, right?
No.
Seriously, because they wouldn't be able to pass on Buckingham Palace, they'd have to sell it. Right?
But
so that's fine. Colours to the mast.
Don't forget, by the way, don't forget, so just one small thing, the royal family bring in billions and billions of pounds into the country through not just all the investment and the presidential visits and all that kind of thing, but also through tourism and other things.
But is that true? Because now we've lost the Queen, I don't know where. Because the French then say, well, we emptied all our palaces and people still visit them.
Yeah, Versailles, etc., etc.
Well, thank you.
But just quickly say that Buckingham Palace is owned by the Crown Estates. So effectively it's reserved for our monarch. Likewise, Windsor Castle. I'm referring to their private properties. Balmoral, vast estate, not just one castle.
That's
huge
private.
Numbers of properties,
Yeah.
private. Sandringham, private.
Yeah.
These giant, unaccountable duchies. I'm simply saying we could look at perhaps giving them a few of the rules under which we, the rest of us...
Sure, no, I'm just saying, if you just have the rules for them, then they would have to sell them when they died, and
they might have to sell some of them. And I think that would be less of a headache for our
Maybe that's right, maybe that's what
I'll mention one important thing which is terrible about all this, is that some of the flats or houses that the royal family own, which have normal tenants in, are poor quality, and they're not fixing the roofs and the damp and so on. That's not acceptable.
That is bad. And also, I think parking ambulances that's not a good look, is it?